Smith. Hi everyone, I'm Meteorologist Carly Smith. Thank you for joining this Facebook Live. We are going to talk everything you need to know about the cold weather. Let me know what you think about the cold weather. Any questions that you have. Terry says it's cold. Did you walk outside and feel cold? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I want to let you know, I want to hear what you think about it, but I'm also going to talk a lot about the science behind why we are so cold and anything you need to know about the future forecast. So the first thing that we are going to get started with is our tire pressure. So how many of y'all had your check your tire pressure light come on? Yes, our temperatures fell pretty drastically. It wasn't a huge decrease in our temperatures, but it was a big enough one to possibly impact your tires. And here's why. Pressure and temperature are directly related. As the pressure goes down, the temperature goes down, and as the pressure goes up, the temperature goes up. So they're directly related, and I teach this a lot at school talks as we talk about pressure and how clouds form and things like that. So in the cold air, molecules move slower, and essentially there's less of an impact or less pressure on your tires, whereas the warm air has the molecules moving really fast, and essentially what that's going to do, I have the wrong graphics up actually. Anyway, temperatures are 36 degrees colder. Okay, so we've got to click through this using this clicker. So pressure and temperature, they're directly related, right? So here's where we've got the cold air and the warm air going on. There's less impact on your tire during colder temperatures and more of an impact or more pressure on your tire during those warmer temperatures. So when you take a look at how our temperature fell, it was 90 degrees for a high on Sunday, and 46 was the coldest temperature I saw as we were headed out the door this morning. And anyway, so that meant we have a pressure decrease of about 4 to 8 psi's. Now, typically, it's really about a degree for every 10, or it's typically 1 psi for every 10-degree difference in temperature. And so closer to 4 than 8, but it does depend on where you live. Some areas did get into the lower 40s and even the 30s as we headed into tomorrow morning. So right now, we are exactly 36 degrees different than the same time yesterday in Corpus Christi, 34 degrees different than the same time yesterday in Robstown, 30 degrees different in Kingsville, right? So our temperatures are reacting and it's cold. So 47 is your air temperature in Corpus Christi right now. 47, that's crazy. The last time we were this cold was on March 19th, which is more than I believe it was 225 days ago is when we were last this cold, which is so wild to think about how long it has been. But that's seasons, and yeah, we get a little bit, at least for a few days down here in South Texas, right? So our temperatures are going to stay on the cold side today, tomorrow, and we still have a couple of cold mornings ahead of us. But as you see on this graphic, our temperatures are going to be going back up. So right now, that blue line that's going across the screen, that's our normal low temperature, which is 61 degrees. And the orange line going across the screen, that's our normal high temperature, which is 81 degrees. We're below our normal low for a high today and tomorrow. Then we see our normal high temperatures returning by the weekend, which essentially means we're not going to stay cold. We're only going to see those temperatures going back up and warming back up. So It's not going to last for long, but it is going to last for 2 days, much cooler than normal temperatures. Lows in the 40s, both tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night, or Thursday morning, and then 58, still chilly. Cool. We'll call it cool. It's still cool Friday morning, but not so much heading into the weekend, right? So taking a look at these temperatures, what you're going to notice is the cold front draped across the United States. I didn't have time to show all the big picture on First Edition this morning, but that's the beauty of this Facebook Live, is we can do it now. And so you can see the temperature differences across the United States. Right now in Corpus Christi, it's still colder than it is in New York City, in Washington, D.C., and then the South. We're not always warmer than or colder than areas in the South, but just to think about being colder than New York City is kind of fun. But that's what cold fronts do, is they drastically change the temperatures. And you see that here. It's 70s ahead of the front. This is your current time at 10:18, and it's 40s behind the front. The panhandle of Texas is in the 30s. Some snow fell across portions of the panhandle overnight. So now that the front is passed, what we are seeing is the cold front has passed to our south, and we're getting rain behind the front. So that rain is filtering in behind our cold front. And we'll talk about why later, but this is just a picture showing where now high pressure is also building behind the front. And high pressure basically doesn't always mean hotter temperatures, but what it does almost consistently mean is that's going to be a section of the United States where we don't see cloud coverage and we see clear skies. And so where that high pressure is set up, we're getting the cold northerly wind coming down the plains and pushing itself into Texas. So that's why we're going to remain cold into tomorrow as well before things start to shift around a bit. So there's your current Texas temperatures. DFW is at 41 right now. Let's see, 45 in East Texas. We're at 48 in Houston, 47 in Corpus Christi, and even Brownsville is down to 50. So the cold front impacts, we've got winter-like temperatures. Our normal high in January is 58, and we will be colder than that today and tomorrow. Light rain will likely be less than 1/4 inch, but we've got some light rain. And then the strongest wind happened this morning. So I think the strongest wind is already passed. But as you can see here, when it comes to that rain, it's just mostly a light drizzle, patchy drizzle off and on throughout the day. At times we may get a little bit of light rainfall, which is what you probably saw as you were heading to work this morning or so forth. But that's what we're looking at across the region. Radar is showing as dry right now, but that doesn't mean we can't get some of that drizzle. Wind will continue to be an issue, especially for areas right along the coast. That's where we do have our wind advisory. That's in place until just after midnight tonight, or 1 a.m. tonight, heading into tomorrow, Tuesday morning. We've got a small craft advisory that's in place through 7 p.m. Tuesday. So still expecting rough water throughout today and tomorrow, and then a gale warning is in place until this evening at 10 p.m. for Gulf waters. And those waves, let me tell you, I don't think I added that forecast in here, but those waves are running about 10, or they were 8 feet at the buoy, and so they're continuing to be strong. We're seeing the wave direction shift out of the northeast as well, or north and northeast, and that's going to continue to cause our tides to be higher, which especially when you combine that with the full moon we had on Saturday. So expect high tides at high tide time, and additionally rough seas, especially the next few days. So 44 miles per hour, that was our peak wind gust in Corpus Christi since midnight. 52 miles per hour in Rockport. We have seen some power outages due to these winds, but we've seen the winds lighten a bit. So right now our current wind gust is 32 miles per hour in Corpus Christi, 35 Rockport. So these are your current gusts across the area. And now we've got our current wind speeds, which is your sustained wind, that is at 21 miles per hour in Corpus Christi. And now we've got your wind forecast, or your wind chill forecast, right? So this is your current wind chill, which it feels like it's 39. So if you go out without a jacket on and you're wearing short sleeves, it's going to feel like 39 on your arms. 39. That's really cold for me. I'm a cold weather baby. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but that's what we're looking at. Our wind speeds, here's that forecast. So we're continuing to see gusts about 30 miles per hour throughout the day today. And additionally, sustained winds right around 20 miles per hour, all out of the north, all bringing in cold air all day long. And so when we take a look at that wind chill forecast, look what you're going to notice. Yeah, temperatures in the 50s for highs, wind chills in the 40s. Now, technically, the wind chill equation is 50 or below, but you're still going to notice it feeling colder, trust me, with the wind blowing as strong as it is. As we get into the overnight hours, 45, likely going to see a few wind chills falling into the 30s once again tomorrow, possibly even for Corpus Christi, with a north wind still at 20 miles per hour tomorrow morning. But the wind is going to become lighter by the time we get into your Tuesday afternoon. 55 is what I'm going for a high. Kingsville, 54, 52 into Frere. If you want to let me know where you're watching from so I can give you a shout out, I would love to do that. But additionally, by trick-or-treating time. So now we're getting into the Halloween forecast. So if you know people that want to know what it is, shoot them a text message or tag them in this post and say, she's talking about Halloween now. Okay, 53 feels like 50, so the wind is going to get a little lighter by the time trick-or-treating is getting started, but we're still talking wind sustained out of the north at about 15 miles per hour. Then overnight, 46, your low early Wednesday morning, maybe even colder because we're getting rid of the cloud coverage. I actually expect it to feel colder than what this graphic is showing. This is stopped at 10:15 a.m. So this is, by the time, if we were doing this Facebook Live on Wednesday, that's what it's going to feel like. So pretty cold, I must say. Fremont, hey Renee, hey Lily, San Diego. I need to start putting some of those smaller towns on some of the graphics for sure. Thanks for watching, sending the love and sending the spooky vibes because Halloween is tomorrow. So 55 at 3 p.m. Once again, that would be a record cold high temperature for Halloween. We have not had temperatures in the 50s on Halloween since 1906. So that is about, if I did remember my math right, I did the equation, but I didn't bring the piece of paper. It should be simple mental math, 2023 minus 1906. But it's not always simple to do in your head. Anyway, that's more than 100 years since we've had temperatures in the 50s for Halloween, which is wild. 54 by 6 p.m. by the time trick-or-treating is getting started, 50 by 9 p.m. And I think the winds will be getting lighter, and I think the rain's going to come to an end. So watch this future cast, right? We're going to see the wind out of the north, 40s today. So this is breaking down today, 52 Corpus Christi, for your high, 49. We're seeing some rain. I think we're going to see the most rain overnight, but even that's not going to add up to much. 8 a.m., we're still starting cloudy on Halloween, 45 degrees, wind out of the north. And then look what happens. By 7 p.m., those clouds are shifting south, and we're going to start to see clear skies. What that's going to do is allow our temperature to drop. If we stay breezy enough, the temperature won't fall too much with radiational cooling, which is essentially when heat naturally emitted by the Earth just escapes into outer space. That wind will help create friction and create some heat as well. But with calm, clear nights, that's when we really see temperatures fall, and we're going to be more like that Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But we're going to start that trend Halloween night. So as the skies start to clear, temperatures will fall. I think the rain is trending lower, where it's going to move out earlier, and we'll have drier conditions for trick-or-treating based on the latest forecast trends. So that's some good news, is getting rid of that rain. But for now, we're still stuck in that potential for patchy drizzle because of the overrunning pattern. So we talked about this on First Edition. Snow this year because of our horribly hot summer. I wish it worked like that, where it was obvious to know. Tara, Corpus Christi feeling nice, not to be sweating. I know, we sweat a lot down here, Zach. Yeah, it would be colder if it was clear and calm. Overnight, not during the day. During the day, the sun heats things up really easily. But we've got the colder air that's moved in behind this cold front, right? So this is our overrunning pattern. The cool air moves in at the surface. That warm air has to go somewhere. And essentially, warm air is going to be more buoyant and ride over the cooler, dense air. So that cooler air stays near the surface and that warm air rises. Essentially what this does is it creates also a temperature inversion higher up in our atmosphere, which allows for, well, if it was cold enough for snow or freezing rain, that temperature inversion would melt the snow, and then we'd wind up with sleet or freezing rain if it was freezing at the surface. But we're not that cold, thankfully, and we're gonna get the warmer air rising up over the colder air. But also what that does is it helps the rising air. Air has to rise in order for clouds to form, and therefore we get clouds developing over the cold air, and we get stuck in this light rain, patchy drizzle, cloudy sky period that's going to linger with us through Tuesday late afternoon. But then the skies start to clear heading into Tuesday night. So one of the biggest reasons we have this overrunning pattern is A, it was so warm over the weekend, and B, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we still have southwest winds that are moving across the Lone Star State. And essentially, that southwest wind is bringing up Pacific moisture, Gulf moisture, and creating these cloudy, soggy, dreary, but also kind of spooky, fits the vibe, conditions, and helping add to the windy conditions on top of the cold front moving through. So that's everything that's going on in the atmosphere. El Nino, I haven't dove into the years we have seen snow here, Tara, but El Nino does tend to give us more moisture, and you need the moisture for the snow, but it doesn't necessarily bring the polar jet stream into our area, and we also need that. So the Pacific jet is stronger during El Nino, which could limit how much Arctic cold air we see down here. But it's weather and climate are two totally different things, and just because typically this happens doesn't mean that it's always going to happen that way every single year. So yeah, I noticed that the clocks go back Saturday, and I didn't even cross my mind earlier this morning, but we'll talk about it the rest of the week so you won't forget. But that's on the 7-day. 7-day forecast has the clocks falling back. Additionally, we've got Halloween, we've got Dia de los Muertos on Wednesday. So Wednesday we're getting sunshine, and we're going to see temperatures back in the 60s for highs, but it's like the old cell phone commercial. It was like singular, I think, raising the bar. That's what our 7-day is doing right here, just going up each day. 80s are back by the weekend, so I hope you're ready for that. We've got more sunshine for the week ahead. Not a whole lot of rain in the forecast, but there is a little bit of rain there. So I think this is all we have for now, unless y'all have any questions. Which I think I've answered most of them. So this is pretty much all I have. In the forecast is that the cold's not going to last forever. That's what you need to leave this with. Is it record cold? Yeah. In fact, record cold highs, not record cold lows. The coldest low for Halloween was in 1993. That's when we saw the coldest low. So still 1993, it was freezing. Temperatures were in the 20s, and it was cold. Colder than this Halloween in terms of nighttime temperatures, and that's also our earliest first freeze ever on record. So that tends to happen later in the winter as well. There's one question that I'm finding an answer to. I'll let you look at the 7-day for now. So as of the current extended forecast, temperatures are only looking like they're going up past this 7-day into early November. It might not be until, so for the next week, possibly the next 2 weeks, we're looking pretty warm. Maybe not this weekend, but the next weekend we see a slight cool down. But that's more than 2 weeks out, way past the 7-day. That's just a sneak peek for Zach, who asked when the next front would be. So, and Brenda asked when's the next cold front. So we got a little time. We don't have a cold front at all in the 7-day, which you can see here. And forecasting past 7 days is really tricky and not very accurate at all. So it's hard to say for sure, but there is a sign that we could see temperatures cooler around November 10th and heading into not this weekend, but the following weekend. But that's still a ways out, so only time will tell. For now, thanks for watching. Enjoy the cold weather while it's here. Enjoy the sea fog. That's something I didn't show. Let's see. Lex camera isn't pulled up. Tower cam is in one of the graph monitors, but I posted it on social media, on Facebook, and also on the website, KIIITV.com, which you can find. It's KIIITV.com. If you want to download the app on your phone, add /app, and then you can download that. It is a free download, and on KIIITV.com, you can find the weather page on the app or on the website, and that is where we update the forecast twice a day at least, if not more, and the latest videos will play, and everything you need to know is right there. Additionally, in today's forecast, I talked about this steam fog that you might be seeing over our local water, because sea surface temperatures, CRP, sea surface temperatures were still around 80 this morning, and our temperature fell to 46. And so when that happens, we get steam fog, which develops with the cold air moving over our warm water. Let's see what the water temperatures are now. Still reading, I don't know what time the last reading was at some of the buoys and gauges out around, but Packery Channel is still showing 78 right now. Port Aransas is 80, so that's still really warm. Those temperatures will fall and over the next 2 days, and then they're going to warm back up again heading into the weekend. But anyway, download the app. Have a great day. See y'all next time.